Here we go again, Manchester United fans. Your evening update here on Forever United TV. There is so much to get through in one show yet again. How can there be so much when the window is not even open? Well, you can see at the bottom of your screen, just before we came on live, there is an update from Nate Salt and Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail saying that Matias Cunha is very close. It is nearly done. How is that even possible? We'll get into that detail as well. We've got a big update on Victor Osimhen, what's happening with Rasmus Hojlund in all of this, and another update from from Fabrizio Romano regarding Marcus Rashford's future as well and what entails there. Get your comments in the live chat, everybody. Talk to me. That's all I want you to do, is get your comments and thoughts across on all of this. We have covered quite a lot already throughout the day, but there is more and more news that keeps on coming out as the day goes on. And again, tonight, like it was last night, more news and extra details actually coming out. A really interesting bit of detail on Victor Osimhen, though, and what is happening with Manchester United's approach for him. That's where I want to start, really, with the Osimhen side of things, because even the people that have been saying that Delap is Manchester United's top target are also now saying that Osimhen is on Manchester United's radar. Things are changing. There is something in the water all of a sudden, and everybody's starting to hedge bets and sit on the fence a little bit as to which way United are going to go. Could there be a little bit more of a push towards Victor Osimhen right now? Details on that now coming up. And thank you, first of all, in the live chat to Modern Samurai. 10 gifted memberships. Welcome along, all of them new members. Absolute legend of the show. Thank you so much for doing that. Right. Let's get into the news as quickly as we can. And this was an amazing report that I seen coming out from Disco Mirror of the Daily Mirror. I'm not sure if you've seen it already, but if you haven't, I'm going to read it out right now. And this is in Manchester United's pursuit for Victor Osimhen. Now, this over the last couple of weeks has sort of drifted out, and I've spoken about it drifting out as well. I'm not going to hide behind what I've said. I'm just reporting and talking about what's actually been said within the media and the stories coming about. But it has drifted out a little bit because of Liam Delap and Manchester United's apparent number one target, according to The Athletic. But Victor Osimhen, all of a sudden, like we've seen from Tuttosport and a few Turkish outlets the other day, Fabrizio Romano had to come out and update us on everything that had happened, because them sources were saying that Osimhen had agreed personal terms with Manchester United. Well, United do want Osimhen. Romano has said that, and we talked about that earlier on today. But now there is more detail about why Manchester United want Victor Osimhen. I've said before that Napoli have to sell Osimhen. He isn't going to do them any favours. They have to just get rid of him this summer. And if somebody comes in early, in June, then Osimhen will go cheaper. And the reported fee was approximately 55 million, which I think straight away at the time I'm thinking, bargain. Well, no. This report from the Daily Mirror says United are going in even deeper on this. Now listen to this. Manchester United are pushing ahead with a 40 million deal to sign Victor Osimhen this summer. Ruben Amorim has made Osimhen his top striker target for the summer. Amorim favours Osimhen over Delap. Boom, mic drop, and a complete spanner in the works to that report that was coming out earlier on a couple of weeks ago about Delap being home and hosed. There is more on Delap coming up as well in this show. Other details as well that haven't been said before. Osimhen is heading into the last year of his contract at Napoli, and United are confident they can sign him for a fee considerably lower than his market value. United looking at this as to take advantage of Napoli's situation. Now, you will also know, and there is another report coming out just to cover the Osimhen side of things quickly on this as well. Amorim sees Victor Osimhen as the perfect player to solve Manchester United's goal-scoring problems. Now, we know that there are people at Manchester United that prefer Liam Delap. That story is going around, but there are more complications with that, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But back to Osimhen while we're on the subject. Victor Osimhen, and this has come out from the Daily Mail's Chris Wheeler and Nate Salt tonight. Victor Osimhen is an option for Manchester United, and the club could be persuaded to let Rasmus Hojlund return to Italy as part of the deal. Now, that is very, very interesting, because we talked about Alejandro Garnacho being a top target for Napoli. and Antonio Conte, making him, according to all of the journalists reporting from Italy, his number one target this summer, and he expects Garnacho to be in the door in Napoli for the start of next season. Now the Daily Mail is saying that Rasmus Hojlund, now we know Rasmus Hojlund is wanted by clubs in Italy. It depends what Manchester United can get for him. Now, Rasmus Hojlund earlier on was apparently, according to Jamie Jackson of The Guardian, priced at 30 million. Now, where he's dug that financial figure out, I do not know, because there's been plenty of reports before stating that Manchester United need 50 million for Rasmus Hojlund. Like, when you break the numbers down, when you look at everything, it's only 2 years into his contract, and we paid 72 million quid for him, 75 with the add-ons and whatever it was. You've gone 2 years into a 5-year deal. We're still not even halfway. Halfway would mean that Manchester United would at least need to sell him for 38, 40 million quid. At halfway, we're not even there. So this is why 50 million looks more realistic. Why it's 30 million, I do not know. I've got no idea where Jamie Jackson of The Guardian has pulled that number from. I don't know if Manchester United are willing to take a hit and cover it elsewhere. I've got no idea. But that's what was said earlier on. But this, I think, is irrelevant right now, because this could be Manchester United bringing Osimhen in for the sake of taking Rasmus Hojlund. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that Rasmus Hojlund is going to Napoli in this piece here. It says they could be persuaded to let Rasmus Hojlund return to Italy as part of the deal. Now, he could be just even sold to another Italian club. Napoli have shown an interest in Rasmus Hojlund before. It all depends on what Manchester United feel they can get. Now, all of a sudden, these details are coming out of Manchester United's approach to Napoli after all of the talk about the contract being agreed and the personal terms being agreed with United's and Osimhen's representatives. So personal terms agreed is what has been the latest over the last few days for Osimhen. Now all of a sudden he starts to put two and two together. Could there possibly be a offer from Manchester United in the offing? Do they feel confident now that a deal can be done? With Osimhen's wages agreed, are they now looking to negotiate a deal with Napoli? Has Osimhen told Napoli, or has his reps told Napoli, that he only wants to move to United? He is interested and would come to Manchester United, was the previous reports. I think Romano has said that he would be open and isn't necessarily too bothered about Champions League football. Now, that would be fantastic for Manchester United. It really would, because that is a top elite striker. Incredibly cheap. Now, and the caveat to this is obviously the Liam Delap being Manchester United's other option. And what is coming out right now is, and I think this is probably a battle within the structure on what you want to believe, because Manchester United intend to trigger the release clause of 62 million for Matias Cunha and 30 million for Liam Delap to sign both players once the transfer window opens on June the 1st. United want to wrap up both deals as quick as possible. That's come from Chris Wheeler's report again and Nate Salt's report from the Daily Mail. So we know about Cunha. We're going to come on to him in a minute and his piece on Cunha, but Liam Delap is apparently Manchester United's top target. That's what's being said about Delap. We've known that for a while now. That came from The Athletic originally. But on this Liam Delap situation as well, this is another piece from that article. Liam Delap is Manchester United's number one choice and target, but there are still obstacles in signing him despite his price dropping to 30 million once Ipswich relegation is confirmed. Manchester United face fierce competition and there are other fees connected with the deal that could push the figure higher. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Delap at a cheap deal is worth it all day long. But if you're starting to talk in the transfer fee realms and prices of Delap coming close to what Osimhen's going to cost, I'm sorry, Liam, you ain't coming to Manchester United if we're only going to buy one. It's going to be Osimhen. And I think this is why Manchester United now, when we're hearing a lot of stories about what deal they could possibly get done for Victor Osimhen. Now, the Mirror and Disco Dave is saying that Manchester United feel like they can get a deal done for Osimhen for in and around 40 million quid. That is staggering. It really is. Will there have to be some form of offering the other way? I'm guessing so. Will that be Rasmus Hojlund? Maybe. That's why that report has come out. Could it be Garnacho? Maybe. We could be sending 2 players to Napoli at a deal. And this is how Manchester United make things work and bring Osimhen in. It all starts to get very, very complex. But the big thing in this, the first big thing to take from them pieces was that as soon as June 1st window opens, so United seem to be thinking that they can make something happen in this transfer window that is open now, the PSR window that's still open now. In that 30 days, even though we're going to be shut for 6 days in between the Club World Cup finishing. So effectively it is 25 days that the window is going to be open in June. 6 days off after, I can't even remember what it was. I think it was the 11th. I think the 10th to maybe the 16th or something like that. The window is shut. Some stupid rule. Anyway, 26 days to get your deals done. And again, another outlet saying that as soon as June 1st comes, United want Delap and Cunha over the line. Now, if Cunha, as we're going to speak about in a minute, is looking good, but Delap isn't, maybe all the talk all of a sudden about Osimhen coming to Manchester United is because of Liam Delap's deal being a little bit more complex and not as cheap as what we first thought. Now look, Delap's always going to save you a fortune on the wages anyway, so I can see United still spending a bit more than 30 million if necessary to get Delap over the line. But if that starts creeping up and United feel like they can get Osimhen for a very similar money, and then the talks of Osimhen are going to start to go into overdrive, and I think that's why these stories are all starting to circulate now regarding Victor Osimhen. I think it makes sense as well when you look at it, but the interesting thing also from that, and the next bit I want to pick out from it, is that Ruben prefers Victor Osimhen. Now this came from the original article from it's not from Chris Wheeler, from Disco Dave. And he says that Ruben Amorim sees Osimhen as the problem solver, as the key to fixing Manchester United's bad fortune in front of goal. That's what he's saying. And I think here right now we're looking at this. The structure at Manchester United is going to have to say. Now, Ruben does have a say on the transfers, obviously, but how a football structure works is that they bring the signings to Ruben Amorim to pick from, and then he picks from them. Now, Wilcox, we're hearing, is driving the Liam Delap situation. Amorim, we're hearing now, is driving the Victor Osimhen transfer instead. Are we going to get a clash in the structure here? Who are we believing more? Is it that Manchester United are going all in for Victor Osimhen from the Mirror, or is it that Liam Delap is still favourite and United are going to have to do a little bit more to get him but still want him ahead of Osimhen from the Daily Mail? They're the two stories circulating right now, and that, I think, is the situation explained in full as to where we're at. And maybe there is a different opinion. And they always say, don't they, look, too many chefs spoil the broth. And maybe Aaron's opinion, on Vival's opinion, on Wilcox's and Omar Barada's. Which way do we go? Which way is best for Manchester United right now? Is it going down the younger Delap, cheaper wages route? Or is it going for the tried and tested and proven Victor Osimhen for what now looks like a very, very cheap deal? If it's 40 million for Osimhen, bye Liam. So if it's 60 million, if it's 55 million, which was originally said, and you have to choose between two of them, look, he's still Osimhen. It's still Osimhen for Manchester United. And if he is willing to work under the structure of Manchester United, i.e. accept personal terms, then I think this is Manchester United saying, okay, green light. We know that Victor Osimhen is going to come. We know we can afford his wages. Let's see how much we can save with Napoli right now. And if we have to, say for instance, I don't know. Just hear me out on this one. I'm just playing Championship Manager a little bit here. Loan Rasmus Hojlund to Napoli for a year and they pay his wages. And let's just see what happens. Maybe loan with an option to buy Rasmus Hojlund to soften the blow. Look, I know I'm just playing FIFA and Championship Manager like I said there, but these deals happen. And there are ways that things can work out. And maybe Manchester United get the double hit from Napoli. And Garnacho gets sold for 100% profit. Rasmus Hojlund gets loaned to Napoli for a year as a mate weight to say thank you to Napoli for doing a good deal on Victor Osimhen. They've got Osimhen's wages off the book. We've got Rasmus Hojlund's off the book. Rasmus Hojlund's wages for a year can go towards Victor Osimhen. If Victor Osimhen does what Victor Osimhen does and gets United back in the Champions League next season, then he's paid for his transfer. And that's the gamble and the risk that you have to take and the judgment call you have to make when looking at these transfers. And I'm guessing right now, them numbers in that boardroom at Carrington or at Old Trafford, wherever they're meeting, are being crunched, spun around, twisted, upside down, inside and out to figure out what the best way is. But the clock is ticking. It's less than 6 weeks until that window opens. And what Chris Wheeler and Nate Salt are saying, and what Disco Dave from the Mirror is also saying, is that they want to bang, go June 1st, get these deals done. And Victor Osimhen is starting to look more and more likely the more that you talk about this. All I need now is for Fabrizio Romano to come out and say, it's off. You thought I was going to say, here we go then. No, not yet. And we will have to wait out a little bit longer, but it does seem like an awful lot of work is going on behind the scenes right now at Manchester United, and they are trying to fast forward everything negotiation wise. It's not going to be like the old days. I think what we're going to see here is a structure get into overdrive as soon as possible. And let's be honest, United can ill afford with the, let's just say, the negative vibe and talk going around this new ownership right now from the fan base to be dragging out a transfer window and just winding fans up even more. They know they're under pressure to deliver. They've cut everything this season. They've cut corners wherever they possibly can. Why? Because you want to put it into the football side of things, don't you? And all of a sudden, what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said to Gary Neville, it's now all about the recruitment. So the fans are going to be there waiting, like, ding, 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 round 1, June 1st, 12 o'clock. What's happening, Jim? Let's go. Let's get some actual results out here in the transfer market, because we are going to be looking for this. This is what United fans are looking for. You're upping the prices. You're cutting corners. You're cutting jobs. You're taking Sir Alex Ferguson out. You're basically taking meals off the table. We get it. As long as the players come in and other players are also sent packing as well. I think the opportunities are there all over the place in the window for United this summer. I am excited at the thought of this, and it's starting to develop now. This is how I thought it would happen. And I do think that Manchester United will get at least 3 or 4 of their top targets now, looking at this. If we get Champions League, good God. God help everybody else in the market. I think United go full bore. Because I know what's coming, and I've explained it to everybody here. After this PSR year, Manchester United, if we're in the Champions League this season and we go into the next transfer window, into the 26-27 season, in the position that we're in, with Champions League behind us after last season, and that money that's coming from there, and that squad ratio rule kicking in, wow. That is a game changer for United. It's all about this summer and what deals get done and what cloth is cut according. And it is going to be absolutely epic. Trust me on this one. Okay, right. Into the chat we go on them first sections. We've still got a bit to talk about yet. We have a big update on Matias Cunha as well. So let's get into this. Well over 1,000 in the room already. Epic. Thank you, everybody. Well over 150 likes as well. Why are you so good? Thank you for that, everyone. If you're loving the content, please do like the video. I've gone into a lot of information there, so it's time to get the vibe out of everybody in the chat. Let's get into it. First of all, quickly, Thomas McCarroll's just popped a super chat in there as well. It should be up to Amorim. There's no point in others deciding then if it doesn't work, Amorim pays the price. Yes, it does, but he has been brought in under the influence of the structure that's in place, and that would have been explained to him. He'd have said what he wanted, Ineos would have said what they wanted. There will be an understanding and an agreement, Thomas, that they all know about, and it's going to come down to the majority vote, I think, on this one. Like, people at Manchester United favour Liam Delap over Victor Osimhen, and obviously I think it's simply because Liam Delap is an easier target to get, and Liam Delap is easier to handle. You don't want the drama that people are saying that he's coming with Victor Osimhen, but I don't think it's all that. I think Victor Osimhen has been built up to be this villain all of a sudden because of how he was treated by Napoli. And there was a big part of the club actually doing that to Victor Osimhen, not the opposite way around. There was a reaction from him, but it started with Napoli. So that, I think, is how Manchester United are going to attack this situation and try and get the best deal out of this. I see a lot of fans are crying into their cornflakes this summer and writing letters to the club. Our footballing executives are not interested in pleasing fan opinion. I'm loving it. Standards. MB, bit negative again, mates. Come on. You know that they're going to do business. You know that they're going to put everything into the football side of things. What are you going to say, MB? Are you going to come back on and actually be happy if United do sign Cunha and Osimhen? What are you going to say about them transfers, mate? Come on, be honest with me now, buddy. Block says that we still need another striker, even if we sign Osimhen. Now, I'll come to that in a minute, Block, actually. Osimhen, all day, every day. It's Ruben's only answer. Delap, don't work with the supply routes we have at present. Need to get in quick because Chelsea probs waiting to pull the trigger as well. Very true. Modern Samurai, Ineos can't pay for sandwiches and soup, and yet we're going to get Osimhen. Yeah, sure we are. Listen, mate, there's a reason why we're not paying for sandwiches and soups. And this is, like I just said, why Man United fans are all waiting with bated breath to see what they do when that window opens. So, all of a sudden, what are we going to say? The one thing I said about Ineos, and I've said it all along, and I've taken dog's abuse for it, was I want to give them free transfer windows to see exactly what they do. Are they going to be different? Are these cuts going to make an instant impact in the transfer window? I want to see what they do. I want to give them at least 3 years to see where United are actually at. And that's when I'll really start judging them. I've called out the ticket pricing thing. I think it was wrong. I really do. I think it should have waited at least a year. Show your intents, back the fans, and get behind the fans that have been suffering for so long, and then start to make obvious price hikes when United are back playing well. But no, they've gone right in, and that was a mistake in my part. It was also a mistake in signing Ten Hag on again to that triggered 1 year extension, and obviously backing him in the transfer window and bringing Ruben Amorim into a absolute melee. It's all on Ineos. Can't even blame the Glazers for that. It's Ineos. But I want to see what they do to rectify it, and that's where I stand with Ineos, and I always have done, and everybody knows that on this channel. I've tried to be balanced and fair in every single debate that we've had on it, and I think that's where we're actually at now. I think we need to see what they do in the summer, and I think they cannot wait to get there, because I think they will cook. I do. I have confidence that we will actually do something in this window. A few more comments in before we move on. Oh, we got to 22 minutes. My God. Let's see. The first cut is the deepest, allegedly. Steph, yep, it is. All those journalists are dangling the worm and the fish are biting. Or can we just not get a little bit excited because we're fans and we're a fan channel? We can compete. Can we, Pete? Can we just not talk about what is actually happening there? I think we can actually say that with everything that is happening, at least Matias Cunha is going to be coming to Manchester United. We can say that because that's the next piece that I want to go into. And Sean, Block, I wanted to explain, we still need another striker, you said. If we sign Osimhen, we still need another striker. Yes, we do need another striker. But let me just actually... Hang on a minute, where's that story gone? Let me just refresh something very quickly, just to make sure I've got it right and up to date. There we go. Right, okay. There is more come out from Chris Wheeler again. Napoli still have a strong interest in Garnacho. I've mentioned that already. That was easy. Manchester United have made contact about Victor Osimhen. That's the Muppeteers who've come out and said that as well. And obviously, we just talked about what Disco Dave said regarding Osimhen and that 40 million. Now, Matias Cunha, according to the Daily Mail, is very, very close. Manchester United are moving even closer. There's another story coming up. Matias Cunha sees Manchester United as one of the biggest clubs in the world, and their current league position would not put him off a potential move to Old Trafford. One source said Cunha loves United. Look, it's Sky, it's ESPN, it's The Athletic, it's Romano, it's everybody who's anybody. They're all saying and reporting on exactly the same thing. Matias Cunha will be a Red at the start of next season. And like the Daily Mail says, this is already close. And the fact that the transfer window is just over 5 weeks away now from opening, we are going to be seeing Matias Cunha signed, sealed and delivered very, very soon. This is very, very promising for Manchester United fans. And Sean, like you said, Matias Cunha can play 9 as well. And then you've got Obi coming through. You could have a Bayern Kerry coming through as well. Look, I just think that we've got the right ages there. You got a 26-year-old in Osimhen, you got a 25-year-old in Cunha, young, strong, fast, quick, the right character, winners, and have got longevity in them as well. Manchester United are looking at the next 5 years secured there in the front line. And you've got Ahmad next to that. That's the point of the video that I made earlier on. If you sign Osimhen and you sign Cunha, that is a completely different Manchester United side altogether. Completely different. I think it was Owen Hargreaves who was on Rio Ferdinand's podcast, and he basically called out my players. It's like he's been listening. Owen, steady on, mate. Get your own opinion. I'm joking, by the way. But he said, if United sign Osimhen, Cunha and Ederson from Atalanta, they are a different proposition altogether going into next season. I kind of agree. That would transform Manchester United in an instant. You have got 3 25, 26-year-old, mid-20s prime players. Why is Cunha so good? Well, Cunha is good because he's used to playing in a 3-4-3. Ederson would be perfect because of like what Hargreaves said, and he knows this well because of his position and where he played in his career. He's got an engine and a reserve engine. He is up and down that pitch, and that's what United need next. And then when you've got Osimhen, well, that's the perfect file there, right there. Can you imagine the creativity when you've got Ahmad, Cunha, Bruno, and then Osimhen there to finish it off? I think Rio Ferdinand made a point in saying that Osimhen doesn't... He needs chances creating for him. He needs things being done for him on the pitch, but he can make goals himself. That's the type of striker that he is. He could go out wide, pick it up, go down the wing, take a player on, and cut inside and shoot and score. That's what Osimhen does. He's very creative as well as lethal in front of goal. He scores headers, he scores with both feet, he's quick, he's strong, he's direct, and that is everything that Manchester United don't have right now. Absolute no-brainer. Backed up by Matias Cunha, this is as excited as I've been leading into a transfer window on absolutely... How long ago now? I'm not even going to... Actually, I've probably been really excited about every transfer window, to be honest. And yeah, what you've got to do there is you probably just got to look at this and go, right, okay. First summer, last summer was Ineos's first. All the staff wasn't there. It was hit and miss. All the carnage of everything. We've had a year to settle in. This is a real judgment summer for Ineos and the new structure at United this summer. This is when everybody's going to be looking on and going, okay, right, I can see where we're going here. I can, but there's going to need a lot more convincing before we get to that point where we can say that we've actually got a proper football structure in place. We can see what they're doing with the academies. We can. Oh, by the way, Sky reporting about Master Tuno, about Manchester United being interested in him. Bit slow sports news. We talked about that already this morning. The next Messi, already covered it, boys. Get with the game. Seriously, Sky Sports, a million miles behind everything at the moment. But what Cave was saying about Cunha there was very, very true. Very true. Right, just to sum everything up so far that we've gone through, just to make sure that you're aware of everything. Manchester United's Ruben Amorim prefers Victor Osimhen. Now, we've heard that agreements are in place for personal terms, which is why United have gone in, apparently, according to Disco Dave from the Mirror, with a cheeky bid for Victor Osimhen that they feel they can get done for 40 million. I'd take 50 and run right now and get him in my side. But if you can get 40, then there's a sign that Ineos are cooking straight away. Don't think that'll happen, I'm going to be honest. But still, United are in and negotiating for him. Amorim wants him. So 40 million there for him. Liam Delap's price isn't going to be 30 million. There are complications and add-ons involved in his transfer away from Ipswich that people haven't reported, according to Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail. So Manchester United have got competition for his signature, and it isn't, believe it or not, as straightforward as what a Victor Osimhen would be. So why are we waiting around for Liam Delap? Well, that's apparently because he is liked ahead of Osimhen by some people in and around Manchester United at the higher level. Ruben wants Osimhen, and I think Wilcox wants Delap. Are we going to get an issue within the structure? We will see, obviously. But then you've got Matias Cunha. This deal is going to happen. It's going to be 62.5 million. Wolves will not budge on that price. Manchester United are happy in negotiations. Personal terms are already being agreed with Matias Cunha, and this deal is going to go ahead. He's going to be a Manchester United player. So when you look at the figures, can you imagine if all of them came off, for instance, and you got all three of them? I don't think we would buy Delap and Osimhen. I think it's Cunha to cover the striker role when necessary, because we've got to have a few more 10s in. And Osimhen, I think, it's one of Osimhen or Delap and Cunha. Whichever way you want to go, majority of people are going Osimhen right now, and that's the boat that I'm in as well. I would be really excited about next season if they were the 2 signings that Manchester United made. And the video I did earlier on about Ruben's 2 signings, remember, if we can make 2 big signings, that's what Ruben was talking about. 2 big players. And that is game-changing players right there. Leadership, absolute characteristic qualities that Ruben needs in his team. Osimhen and Cunha, game changers. Complete game changers for Manchester United. Simple as. So, 30 to 40 for Delap, possibly 40 for Osimhen, 62 million for Matias Cunha. And Rasmus Hojlund could be sent the opposite way in the Osimhen deal. That's said from the Daily Mail. Interesting developments always, and I think this is going to rumble on. By the way, I did say earlier on, Jamie Jackson of The Guardian said that Rasmus Hojlund's price is 30 million. I said that before, I'll say it again. I don't know where he's got that figure from or how he's got to that, and that is affordable for United. I really don't see that being realistic. I don't. But you never know. You never know. Right, let's get into some comments on this. We got to over 250 likes on the show. Epic. Thank you, everyone. If you love it, give it a like, give it the thumbs up. Make sure you have subscribed as well. If you weren't here last summer, I've got you completely covered every single day with every minor detail of every transfer that could possibly be happening at Manchester United. So make sure that you've got your notifications on. You are subscribed as well. The posts are going out as well, everybody. You would have noticed today that the YouTube posts are starting to build up again. We're going to do some polls in that as well and play a few little quizzes and games within the YouTube post network as well. So make sure you're involved in that as well if you are subscribed. It is always a little bit of fun just to gauge where everyone else is at. I do have a strong opinion, but it is good to get some others in as well. And a lot of people do like to shoot me down in the comment section. As long as you do it politely, I really don't mind. Jonathan says, some players that we think will go on the bench next season won't because they will lift their game from the increased competition. Bringing good players lifts the whole team. That's a good point. Fighting for your place. Nico Christos, Maguire's #1 fan. I see that's a change of a YouTube name there, right there. Will we fight for the next season? I can't wait. Great job, Sir Jim. We need a new keeper, says Nico. Mr. Dacia Sandero says, that alone... Oh, right, sorry. He's talking to somebody else. Anthony Sancho, Rashford, 1 or 2 others, and cash money, says Modern Samurai. Do you know, someone asked me the question the other day, actually. It just triggered something there in my in the old memory bank, actually. Do we think that Manchester United will be able to go out and make purchases before we sell players? That, I think, is a killer question right there. And I think we're sort of getting the answer to it, aren't we? Because if United are ready to trigger on June 1st on these transfers, and if Wheeler and Salt are saying the right, are true in what they're saying, and there are a few other people backing this up as well, if they are all going down the same road again here and saying that United are willing to bring players in on June 1st, then surely we're confident that we're just going to be able to sell the players we need to sell later on in the window. I don't know, maybe we don't need to sell the players in this transfer PSR period. I'm not too sure how that is actually going to develop, but we will see. We will see, but going off what's been said, going off what's been reported, United look like they're going to buy players first and then sell everybody afterwards and make up the money, which you could say is risky, but at least United are going and getting their targets. And that is a show of intent, I would say. I really do think I think that's the right way to do it. Let's see. If Wilcox wants to lap over Osimhen for the same price tag, he is a biased idiot. The experience of Osimhen by comparison to Delap is immense. Look, Wilcox is a shrewd operator and he knows what he's doing. And he will be there negotiating. He will be there discussing with Ruben and the rest of the recruitment team about what the best options are. And if he will know that Osimhen is a player. I think he's just looking at what he could get and what he could develop at Manchester United. I think that is where we're actually at right now. It's absolutely crazy in terms of what options are there for United and how we've still got this pulling power. It really is absolutely crazy. But Manchester United, I feel, are in a stronger position than what a lot of people thought they would be. I really do think that they are in a better position now. And I think it is going to be it is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of fans. A real eye-opener. I really do. But yes, Marcus Rashford's situation as well. That is come about from Fabrizio Romano. It's as simple as, if Villa do get into the Champions League, then we are looking at them being able to sign Marcus Rashford. It may come down to that. Romano has also said that Unai Emery wants Marcus Rashford. He's happy with him, and Marcus Rashford is happy with Unai Emery. In that case, I could see him staying at Aston Villa. Romano's not going to say that for the sake of it, but he is obviously covering himself by saying that that Aston Villa may need to just have the security of Champions League for both the player and the club part on this as well. Crazy, innit? What a window it is going to be, everybody. Right, quickly, before we go, we got a super chat in from Roz who says, yes, players like Rashford and Sancho and never make it easy. Happy that United won't be missing out on Cunha and Osimhen /Delap. Well, those two drag their feet and stress us all out. Said this before, both of them players are going to want to be settled in a side by the end of this window, because it's the last chance that you will get to actually be in a club to convince the international coaches to get into the World Cup. Not saying that Sancho's got any chance whatsoever. Even though Tuchel did work with him at Dortmund, I can't see him ever getting back into the England fold. That would be staggering if that happened anyway. But look, that is your update on everything going on with Manchester United. Sorry, I have to cut it short a little bit tonight, everybody. I have just got to get through this next couple of days with a few things on, so I'm squeezing in these shows as and when I can. I know the times haven't been exactly when we usually do them, but I do appreciate all of your patience and all of your support in the chat as well. I'm still getting the shows out. We've cut a couple short just through me being busy away from the camera, but thank you everybody again. Absolutely loving the support. If you have subscribed and you are new to the channel tonight, thank you. Love that. Get your comments in when the video is finished. If you have loved the show, please do give it a like. If you've liked it, give it a like as well. You don't have to have loved it, but it is free just to give a little like on it. So boom, away you go. Have a great evening, everybody. Mods, members in the chat, thank you so much. All the contributors, Modern Samurai, Roz, and Thomas, thank you very much, guys. I will see you all bright and early. Normal time in the morning, everybody, 8 o'clock tomorrow. So normal show in the morning tomorrow. I'll see you there, everyone.